How you guys doing? Uh, Checking on the sound in the picture. Hey, William, Nephron. How you guys doing? How you feeling, William? I hope you're better and back to back to fighting form. Um, anyway, uh, let's a bunch of things I wanted to take a look at today. First of all, let me ask you guys. Hi, Bruce. Um, Let me ask you, a lot of you um, had comments about the um, Glashütte original and the comparison with the Girard-Perregaux. And since I have watches with Girard-Perregaux movements, my Harry Winston does, but for the most part, um, I don't seem to have either one in terms of the whole watch. And so I just wanted to get to why we're waiting for everyone to get started is some of your opinions on that. Do you guys have either one of those models of them? I mean, other than like Maya movement? No, yes, guess not. Okay. Um, okay. Is the sound in the picture okay? Anyone? Waiting to hear from you. Okay, well, how are we doing that? Let me sort of very gingerly bring this up. This is my hi geezer. Sound good? Okay, good. Everything's good. Great. That's what I want to know. This is my uh, uh, key wound watch, and when I got it, they had this plastic glass on it, just sort of as a cover for the dial. And I was looking at it, and it almost immediately fell off. It was my fault. I was trying to open up the case and unfortunately popped the wrong one. But this is what I have, and I think we talked last time about this. And so here you have two different things that you normally wouldn't have if you went and got you would just went out and bought a movement somewhere, like this one. Uh, this is this is the movement I got, and the interesting thing is that the movement came with sort of a sample dial on it and sample hands. In other words, you can do with it what you want, but this will give you an idea of what you're getting. And I didn't realize it had small seconds because it didn't have the sample hands with it. But still, in all, you're not. One of the tips I got was that is to remove the bezel. Well, apparently, it looks like the bezel's already been removed, and so instead of pulling the movement out through the back from here and pulling it up this way, would be the normal way to do it. Once I loosen the case screw, I can just drop the whole thing out the front. That's what I'm hoping to do anyway. And then once I do that, all I got to do is pop it into my case, and that's it. So it's one of those things that could possibly, it could end up to be a lot more complex than that. And then I'd have a case with this double clamshell and so forth. But um, from what I can see, this isn't an impossible task, and it'd be sort of fun to have a hand wound watch. Okay, so what have you guys been up to? Hi, Dominic. How you doing, man? Abdul, good to see you. Hey, Dwayne, how are you? Okay, so uh, did anybody else go out? I mean, we're still working on this. By the way, too, I haven't abandoned this other project with the 2892. This is in pretty good shape. The one interesting thing I ran into is that the one I got, the movement has something the case has something I've never seen before, and it comes with this bezel, and you put this inside of the bezel, And what I'm trying to figure out now is how you how you secure it, because it's not like your typical kind of securing device. So this is another little goodie I'm working on, and I have it in my little vise here, and I'm keep worrying that it'll drop out of the sort of this bezel semi case that it's got. But anyway, this is going on, and the Soprod A10, which is just like the 2892 in terms of dimension. This thing is incredibly accurate and a good movement, excellent movement. So I'm pretty happy. I just got to figure out, once I get everything going, is that I'm going to move over here. The sun has decided that now's the time to blind me. Okay. Hi, Sean. How you doing, man? Um, Going for a motorcycle ride this morning. That's always good. Years ago, I used to ride a motorcycle to work all the time. Gee whiz, for about 3 years, I'd hop on my motorcycle and off I'd go. And I tell you, I sort of got a kick out of it, but man, in Florida, I was teaching at the University of Florida at the time, and it was always muggy. It could be snowing and it would be muggy. And I had this big yellow rain suit that I had to wear because it rained a lot and was muggy the rest of the time. It was like riding on a motorcycle inside of a sauna. So a great big old helmet and stuff. Anyway, that was fun though. Okay, let's see. It's 12 C outside at the moment, so I think I might stay indoors today. Yeah, it's cold here too. It was like, I think, 10 degrees, which is about 10 degrees Fahrenheit, which is minus something centigrade. Centigrade is nice because the freezing point of water is 0. And so, it's pretty easy to figure out what it is. Outside, though, my wife puts these bowls of water out for all of the critters we have out in the back. Everything, the birds, the squirrels, skunks, raccoons, possums, deer. We've been having deers jump over the fence, or they go through where the bears knocked the fence down. And now they're just big hunks of ice. So, oh man. 12C though. Hey, Abdul, that's toasty. Come to New England for a nice, cool winter. And then there's tons of snow. The snow hasn't gone down either. We've got snow. We got 3 layers of snow, and it's been so cold, none of them have melted. Usually it'll snow and it'll melt, and then another one will come. Not this latest one. Okay, what about the goats? Goats are tough. The goats are in great shape. They're out there lifting weights while I'm sitting in here talking. Oh yeah, those goats. Doesn't bother them at all. They've got those. They're all wearing their cashmere sweaters that we get later on. Hey, Andrew, had the shovel. Yeah, God. We hired a plow. We got this one of those horseshoe driveways, and then it goes down and all over the place. And finally, we just had a guy come in with a plow. William, you're in Key West, right? It's 81 degrees. 81 degrees and hurricanes later this afternoon. That's the kind of weather I like. We have snow until the end of April here in the Black Forest due to the altitude. Yeah. I don't know. I took a train trip from Nuremberg to Dresden a couple of years ago when I went to see Rolf Lang. And there was something that was called the Bavarian Alps. Is that right? Does that sound in the right place and everything? Hey, Roar the Tiger, how you doing, man? Anyway, so back to the first question. Do you guys have either a Glatuda original or a Girard-Perregaux? And if you do, what do you think about it? No? Okay, still no one's... I am bothering my wife every day about moving to warm. Why? I'm a native Californian, and my wife is from Texas, and so we're sort of more recent New Englanders for the last 20 something years, but I love it up here. I really do. Um, the Bavarian Alps. Oh, okay, good. Abdul, thank you. That's what I needed to know. Hi, Capital. Can you tell us more about the Rolf Lang visit? Yeah, I did a video on that, Capital. What I did is that I have all of these things in there. I had my camera with me and I was taking video. There was just this workshop, and where he lives was sort of one place. Just this amazing, amazing. I had my video going. I never took a picture of me or Rolf. It was I think there was an arm or a leg, and Rolf was going on in German about what he had. But man, I tell you, the thing that impressed me most, he had a piece of metal that looked like it was shrapnel, just one of these jagged pieces of metal. And I looked at it closely, and he had, excuse me, either he had either milled or cut or somehow a part out of there. I mean, this guy hand makes it, and it was like a part of a plate for a movement, and just really amazing. Okay. All right. So anyway, the Rolf Lang visit. So I went there and met Rolf and a couple guys that both of whom spoke English at the train station in Dresden. Drove up. They drive like 100 miles an hour. And my wife, I thought she's a nervous rider, and so we go up to this place, and there were all these great things, and I just it was one thing after another, and that was when I came up with the idea. I said, Rolf, I got a bunch of guys, and what we can do to promote your watches is that if you lend us one, we'll all wear it, and put it on social media and pass around. And we'll do that for a year, and we did, and it worked out fine. It really worked out great. In fact, the watch that Rolf sent us, somebody wanted to buy, so I had to send it back to him. I sent the watch back the other day, and he's working on some other stuff now. And he's working with a glass company, La Latique. It's a French watch company, real apparently like on a similar quality as oh God, I don't know the glass company. He's a famous porcelain company. Hey John, how you doing? How's Miami? The thing about Miami, that's a great thing, is that for some reason, and I'm still not sure why, all of the great watch companies have some kind of outlet there. Well, there are a few exceptions, but when I sent my Parmigiani in, they had a Parmigiani service center there. Both of my FP Journes went there, and they did service, and they just do a fabulous job. So that's one of the things about Miami. Now the downside of Miami is you got to live in Miami. Just kidding, John. Oh, let's see. I have a stainless steel Panamatic Lunar with the 4 screen now. Oh, that's really beautiful. No wonder you like it, Matthew. That's a gorgeous watch. The Aventura Mall. Yeah, that's as it would be. When I lived in Florida, we didn't get down to Miami. It was all up in Gainesville. So, but I don't know. There's some of the old. There's a certain kind of architecture in a certain part of Miami that's really great. But Miami would be a fun place to visit. It's like New York. They say about New York, oh, I love to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. Okay, Panamatic is a beautiful watch. Yeah, I like the Panamatic. Of all of the watches that Glashütte Original make, I think the panel line is, at least it's my favorite. They have some other ones too I like, and they have some ones they've retired that I like a lot too. Carré, I think is the name of it. That one I really like, but that happens a lot. You have a watch that you like, and then you retire it. Hey, let me bring up one more thing that I've ended up. I really stepped into it on a video I had about a week or so ago, and it was simply a little thing about the use of silicon in watches, and was talked about should Rolex have a silicon hairspring in it. Oh man, I've been getting stuff all week long about. People keep sending me examples about the periodic table of elements. I know about the periodic table of elements. It's so you're getting all of this stuff about silicon. Oh, it's just another element. Oh, yeah, that's true. The one that the Siloxy that Rolex makes is silicon and oxygen. Guess what quartz is made of? Just guess. Quartz is silicon and oxygen. All right. So it's another type of quartz. So on the one hand, people are, oh, I don't collect quartz watches. I don't either, but that's neither here nor there. Um, in terms of the kind of craftsmanship and so on and so forth, it can be, especially the kind that can be worked on. You get a silicon, you get a great hairspring in terms of keeping accurate time, okay? Because of certain stable properties, anti-magnetic or non-magnetic, I should say. They're non-magnetic. The heat and temperature changes don't affect it too much. There are a lot of advantages, and but by the same token, there's huge advantages to a quartz watch because they're going to be more accurate than no matter what. You're going to have a more accurate watch with a quartz regulator, or yeah, I guess they call it a regulator, than you're going to have with anything that is purely mechanical. The whole thing with silicon versus some other kind of non-ferrous metal that you can use, it's simply a matter of, I suppose, if you're going to pay a lot for a luxury watch, with some watchmaker going in there and maybe tweaking the hairspring a little to give it just a little better timing, you're not going to be able to do that with silicon. Silicon comes out as wafers. All right. I worked with computers for long enough. They're fine. Silicon is fine for what it does. I just didn't, something I don't prefer to have in my watches. Patek Philippe, all of Patek Philippe's have now gone to some kind of silicon thing. They come out big tray of perfectly everything silicon hairsprings. If you want it, you got it. I don't want it. All right. By the way, too, one of the great hairsprings that's in a whole lot of watches is the Straumann hairspring that's made by H. Moser. They sell about 2,000 watches a year or so. They may be going up because their watches have, I think a lot of people have discovered them becoming really popular. And but still, they're selling 100,000, 50,000 hairsprings. So there are a lot of companies who want a really good hairspring. Another company you probably don't hear about very much, but it's very important for making hairsprings for other companies other than their main company, is a company called Autocalpa. All right. And Autocalpa, I think, is some kind of Greek term that means precision or precise. Anyway, they're owned by the Sandoz family. This is Parmigiani. All of the Parmigiani hairsprings, like this one, are made by Autocalpa, and other companies use their hairsprings. And it is sort of funny. They're very secretive about it. The only company I know, for example, that uses the Straumann hairspring by H. Moser is MB&F, but they won't tell. That's the only one that they tell us about. The same is true. There's some other companies I know that use Autocalpa, and that's because they make really great hairspring. Most companies don't make them. I'll tell you one that, to me, is one of the most interesting ones is, Beauvais. You know, when Beauvais was cranked up by Pascal Raffi, came along, he bought everything that he needed, uh, including a company called, Demier 1738, I think is what he named it. He's got Beauvais 1822, and then sort of the movement arm is called Demier. And so with and they make their own hairsprings, and it's not an easy process. Very few companies do. So anyway, that just you know, if you want silicon, be my guest. All right, that's all I got to say. All right, the lunar is 12.7 millimeter, which isn't too bad actually. Yeah, you know that's one of the things, Andrew. A lot of people talk about the Glashütte watches as being pretty big, pretty hunky, chunky hunkies. And that's okay. I got a big fat. My Christian Vanderclaw is a big fat thing, and doesn't matter. This thing is nice and big, but it's got those horn lugs on it that just wrap around your wrist. And so even with a good, this is the extra large Colpa Grande, but it feels light as a feather to wear, even though it's solid steel. I think we might get new material that has better performance that makes it obsolete. I think metal steel ones will always be there as traditional watchmaking. I hope so. I really hope so. Abdul, yeah, because I really like it. This is one of the things I was going to mention. This I got to be careful when I pick this thing up. This thing, this is from like 1850 or something like that. It's got this. It's got the same hairspring that it had when it first came out, and it keeps great time. I mean, I haven't put it on a time grapher, but what I did, I wound it up, checked the time against my computer, and let it run, and it kept excellent time. Let's see if you can see the right at the top up there. You can see the weights around the balance, and it's got this old hairspring in there that's cranking away still. Anyway, that was. I mean, it's sort of like saying you can't use silicon. You can use anything you want. You can use any material you want. The guys who have been sending me copies of the periodic table of the elements, that's okay. I already know it. All right. So what else is new with you guys? Oh, by the way, too, somebody mentioned the uh, Glashütte original. What was it called? The 1966? Is that it? That's another. It's either the 60 or 66, one of the two. Great watch. I love those watches, especially I like the orange one with the sort of the sunburst on it. Those are some very cool watches, very original kinds of things. Girard-Perregaux, same thing with their 60s model. Their 60s, the what they call 60s, a little more little quieter, I'll put it that way. But they still have that same, suddenly the 60s, man, they were, who remembers the 60s wasn't in the 60s. With green and orange, yeah, degrade dials. Yeah, Abdul, those are the ones that are just super cool. I like those. Okay. They also have one with a big date, but I like the time-only versions. Yeah, that's something about the date. I really love that Vacheron Constantin triple date. I really just a great watch. I love the look at it. I like the movement in it. The movement's the same one that's in my Easterreeks 1921. Yeah, Bruce, I think that's the word I was looking for. The Girard-Perregaux 66 is more reserved. It got perhaps a little more elegant, but not in a better than way, but just as a descriptive. Does anyone know the 2021 watch releases? That's a good question, Andrew. Does anybody, you know, I've seen some that come along every now and then. I haven't seen one yet though that goes, "Oh, wow, this is really cool." I don't know, you know, I'm sure there are going to be some. I suppose in a way the, Marco Lang's, new watch was, I guess, sort of like a 2021, or actually sort of a 20 built in 2020, but very close to 2021 release. Can't think of any more of those. Anyway, well, listen, that was, really what I wanna talk about. I've been too chicken to, take the screw out of the case screw, but I gotta do that. And, once I do that, then I can see whether I can put this into I think it's either I think it's a porcelain whoops, it's a porcelain, dial, which I really like, and so I'd like to try to take the dial as a whole and put it into my wristwatch case. Okay, I'm off. Just wanted to talk to you guys about little about those, and take care. Be safe. Uh, I'm looking forward. I hope by October we can. Those of you who go to the watch time meeting in New York, I hope we'll all be able to go to that by October. But in the meantime, stay real safe and be real careful. Take care.